Welcome to my art workshop. This is part 2 of the creative jewelry making series. Today we're going to be stringing along and hooking on. So today we'll be working with these tools and we will be working with these jewels. So, the first thing that I like to do is find out how well everything dried. And like this one dried rather crooked. I forgot to turn it, and so it did not dry flat. I might still be able to use it for a pin. I'm going to put that on a plate to keep it separate. And I want to check anything that has a hook in it and make sure that the hook is in there. And please do not do this kind of pulling if the Play-Doh is not dry. And anything that has a hook, I'm pulling and testing. And oops, that is something that happens from time to time. I don't know why. Maybe I wiggled it when I was putting it in. So I poked it back in. But what I'm going to do is grab a piece of scrap paper and my glue. I want to get the glue right where that hole is, and I do not want to disturb this while it is drying, while the glue is drying. So I'm just going to put it on my plate that has the pieces with the jewels with the hooks. Make sure that it's sitting in a way that I can recognize that it is not like the others. I'm going to take my satin cord and I'm going to roll the end so that I will be able to thread it through my beads. While the glue is drying, I'm going to check to see if my beads are going to fit through my wire choker, because today we're going to make a necklace on the satin cord. We're going to make a necklace on the wire with the metal magnetic clasp. And we are going to make earrings. We'll save the pins for our final workshop. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have the right kind of metal choker and that this is really glued on there. Okay, so this is glued on there, and let's see what fits through there. Okay, if it fits through there, it's going on the plate on the right. And that doesn't fit on there, so that is going to have to be a satin cord. I want to make sure that I can go all the way through Nope. This one, I think, went all the way through, yes. So I'm sorting out what could go through this smaller clasp, not the bigger one, but the smaller clasp. And that's going to tell me what I can work, what has to be for the satin cord. I forget which is which, so I'm going to make a little note on a scrap of paper and say wire, or I could write on my paper plate. Okay, so once I have put the note on the plate, I can keep sorting. And this does not mean it has to be for the wire, but it lets me know what I do have available for the wire. So it does not have to be for the wire. This just lets me know what fits and what doesn't fit. So we are sorted and we're ready to think about what is going to become what. So I like to take a clean plate. I like to work on plates or lids or something to keep my beads from rolling off the table. So let's look at these beads and sort out what I think is going to be a good arrangement. So I like this one and this one. And maybe I will put something different in the middle. And go back to something like that. If I'm going to have those on the end, maybe I'll have this one in the middle instead. And I like to line them up so that I know what is going to go where, because when I start stringing, I'm going to want to feed them through, and I want to know what goes next to what. I think I saw something that was kind of sharp, and I don't want to jab myself when I wear this or jab my clothes. So I'm going to use the nail file, and I'm just going to get rid of the sharp edge. The nail file might have been placed into your bag number 3. Trying to catch all of those shavings in my lid or scrap paper, something, so that I'm not going to mess up my work table. And I'm going to wipe off my fingers, and I'm ready to roll here. So I'm going to start on one end, and I'm just going to go one by one, like this. And pretty easy. The only glitch that you might run into is if your the bead that you put on first has a big hole and it could slide off and everything rolls onto the floor then. This one is fine. It's not going to slide off. So if it happens to be a giant hole, then you need to find something to tie on the end, like string or tape, a piece of egg carton, something to keep it from if your bead has a big hole on the end, you need to put something there to keep it from rolling right off and falling onto the floor. Maybe a little scrap of egg carton, a styrofoam egg carton, or improvise with some tape. So we're done with one necklace. There it is. And so let's put that to the side, and let's now work on one that we string. So I'm going to take my satin cord that now has dried glue on the end, and that will help me thread it through. It's more like a shoelace then. But if I just start stringing, look what can happen. If I just start stringing, I'm going to start from one end and work my way through my lineup, but look what can happen. So I have had many beads fall on the floor. Many beads get broken that way or lost. So I'm going to find my glued end and I'm going to put a knot, any kind of knot, any kind of big fat knot on the other end, so that when I am stringing, nothing is going to fall off the end. So I just pick up each bead in the lineup, thread it through in the order that I have placed it on the plate. That one in the middle reminds me of like a big colorful donut. And these went out of order. So I check over here and I see that I'm ending with the big fat one. So it must go this way. And I notice that some of my beads have cracked. I'm not going to worry about that. And here is my finished necklace. And if I wanted to, I could have made a knot in between each of the beads. That would be interesting to look at. I didn't do that. You can do that for sure. You can find something around the house that has a hole in it that will fit through, and use that mix in found objects. Why not? So I'm going to try this around my neck and see where it fits. I'm going to make a knot, but I want to leave plenty of space to get over my head. The satin cords have been cut into a pieces that are about a yard long. So I'm going to do this, and in fact I'm going to do it twice, just to be sure. And there it is, necklace number 2. And so now what about earrings? Let's go back and see how our hook is. It looks like it might be dry. I'm not going to pull on it right now. I'm going to save that for last. And I'm going to show you a very simple way to make an earring using the long or the short kidney wire. So it depends on if I want long or short earrings. Short earrings, I use the short kidney. Open the hook and put the wire on. If it matters which is front, then I put it on so what I want to be in the front is in the front, because the part that hooks is going to be in the back. This will go through my pierced ear, and there is one earring ready. And maybe I wanted that earring to be on a longer hook, so then I take the longer kidney wire. This is many times easier to open and close, but it might be too long. The best thing is to have a mirror handy or your computer screen so that you can see how this looks on your ear. Maybe you want something larger to be on the long hook. Here's another one. That's going to be the front. What if I didn't have pierced ears? A clamp-on earring is going to hang like this, and this will hang down, but it's a closed circle and a closed hook. So this is where our fancy jump rings, the metal circles, come in. Now the thing about this jump ring is usually for jump rings you need to have a pair of pliers in this hand and a pair of pliers in this hand, and you open the jump ring, do whatever you need to do, and close it up. I thought that might be too much of a challenge for us, so luckily we have these pretty easy to bend jump rings that we can use without pliers, but we have to grab them. And here's the secret. Imagine that you are opening the jump ring this way. getting it back together again and hitting the right place is really going to be difficult. But if we open it this way, it's a little easier to get back to where we want to be. Okay, so we have the jump ring, and I'll do it the bad way first. So I've opened it up. You can see it's larger. I've opened it up. I can go through whatever it is that I want to go through. But getting it back together again is pretty much impossible without jewelry pliers. So here's our key. We're going to do it where we're going to be like sliding rather than opening. I'm going to pivot it so you can see that I have opened it. I've opened it, but I'm going to be able to close it. And I cannot see well enough to know when I've closed it, but I can kind of, without special glasses on, I can kind of feel that it's closed. I can almost hear it scraping closed, and I know that's where I want it to be. So let's do it again, and we'll thread through a hook and a closed circle, close it back up, and pretty good. I don't hear it, but yeah, it's pretty good. And I can add a dab of glue if I feel that I need to. The thing to check is, will this pop through? Nope, it's good. It's good. It's not going to come through. So now, if I don't have a pierced earring, I can still have an earring. And if I'm looking at it and I'm saying, yeah, but it's going sideways, and I don't want it to go sideways, so then let's go back in, take this out, get another jump ring, the other jump ring in there, close it back up. Remember, I'm pivoting to opening the, well, I'm pivoting to open the jump ring O. I am not stretching it wide apart. I'm just doing the pivot. Now I'm going back in to the closed circle on the earring backing, and let's see if that is going to give me something that hangs better. Yes, I think I like this hanging better because it's going to hang forward and it's going to wiggle, and you might choose to do something like that. What if I'm doing a necklace and I want to use something like this for the center of the necklace? So again, it's going to hang sideways, and maybe I don't want it to hang sideways. Maybe I want it to hang so that that little bird faces sideways, but that little bird can sit flat against my sweater or shirt or neck. So I need a jump ring in there. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to get another jump ring, and I'm going to open it. Remember, I'm not going to stretch those prongs apart. I'm going to pivot and open. I'm not going to go open like that. So I'm going to just simply pivot, go into the jump ring, go into the hook, close the jump ring up, and line up my necklace beads. Okay, so I'm going to line up beads that I think will go with this pink hand. That might bump. So I'll put it here, but I'm going to need jump rings on those. So I get out 2 more jump rings. There's one. I open it by pivoting. I close it by pivoting. And take the other one, I open it, I pivot it open like that, and in it goes, and I pivot it back, and now I'm ready to string it up. And so I'm going to use another one of my metal chokers with the magnetic closure. And I'm just going to start stringing. Oh, that's interesting. It wants to grab on the magnetic catch, wants to catch the jump ring. And because I've checked that it's not going to fall off the edge, I can let this hang down on my lap. I could have used the satin cord, then I wouldn't be bumping into the magnetism here. Now, when I take this off and put it away, I'm going to want to be sure that I have closed my hook so it doesn't go rolling off. So there it is. And actually, I think I have to put it on this way. I think I could be very happy to have bunches more of these little red, pink, hot pink, red, whatever color that is, lined up along the sides, or maybe some more of these lined up. I can easily go back, undo it, put it in the plate, so it doesn't roll away, and restring it after I make more beads. That's it. Enjoy.